Live and in color on Sportsnet 360, 590 The Fan in Toronto, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you can't catch us live and in color, there's always Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our appreciation out there to YouTube for all those great chats. And if they like us, they give us a thumbs up or half a thumb if they just like me and they are bothered by the two of you.
Yeah, we'll take a half.
Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, and Ethan Jaja Gabor with you for the next 2 hours as we go into a Leaf Hour edition. Game day, Toronto Maple Leafs and the Minnesota Wild tonight. Puck drop, 7:30, Scotiabank Arena. In the meantime, plenty of action on the weekend. Sammy, little flippage between NFL and hockey on the weekend.
I do notes for when I do Leafs talk, so I just write stuff down so I can remember to look at it. My first period notes for Leafs and Jets were 35 good, Leafs look flat, go Bills. Those are my three. Those are my three notes I wrote for the first period. I had the second screen. I had the Leafs on second screen, Bills on the big screen until the end of that game, obviously. But yeah, I mean, one of the best sports weekends of the year, the divisional round for the NFL, and it really, outside of the two, there's a couple of duds in there, right? Like the Seahawks killed the 49ers, and the Patriots Texans game was exactly
the overtime games.
The Bills game and the Bears game, the two teams that actually lost, were fantastic, just fantastic games with twists.
Those are like game sevens, right?
Yep.
Overtime.
Guys, I got kids that are 9 and 5. I was sledding and skating and going to hockey practice.
But
don't know what that's like.
One parent can do that sufficiently.
My wife was out of town. I was the parent.
Yeah, but I am sick for the Bills and their fans. It's just they can't just lose in a normal fashion. They have to lose in the most heartbreaking fashion possible on a controversial call that should have been a catch, but it's not.
Does it have a name yet?
I don't know. The non-catch, and then the pass interferences, and then Bo Nix breaks his ankle in the second last play of the game. Like, it's
Josh
crazy.
Allen doesn't have a moment anytime during the regular season like he had in the dying seconds of the second quarter.
He used to.
He used to.
In his first couple of years, he used to be a real space cadet, and he kind of dialed it in.
Yeah, it's like a bozo gene that kicked in.
Live to fight another day, no question.
I felt awful for him.
Yeah, crying at the podium. That was tough to see, man. Tough to see.
That was tough to see. And interesting, I actually wouldn't mind getting your thoughts on him crying at the podium, because I know we've had a thing here where you don't like the crying.
It's uncontrollable, right? It's just who he is. Listen, Mark Messier's my hero.
Yeah.
And nobody balls like him. And you're not ripping on Mark.
Nope.
And you're not ripping on Josh. Okay. It's just the way they are. They're built that way. They're emotional.
Yeah. And I think he probably was coming to the realization that, there wasn't exactly going against Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar. Like, if he wins that game, he's going
just wasn't equipped with the best surrounding cast of his time in Buffalo.
But if he goes to Foxborough to take on the young ups, like, they could win that game, and they could beat anybody in the NFC. Like, it was right there for him.
Yeah.
So I know
we should go.
Okay, we're going to move it on. But just my last thing is, this is a sports in general question. Like, does it feel like it was a knee-jerk reaction to fire their coach, or was it just something that was in the making over the last, 8-9 years?
That's a long time. In hockey, where coaches get 2.5 years, it doesn't seem like it's a knee-jerk reaction. You get enough cracks with a good team, you don't get through. I hear a lot of people from Buffalo saying, would have liked to see the GM go as well if you're going to start over.
I just think coaching in the NFL is super volatile, and guys lose their jobs after 1 year all the time. And for him to be there as long as he did without any Super Bowl appearances or anything with Josh Allen, I think it was probably tough.
You liked it.
I did, because you had your chance. Yeah. Time for a new voice. Time for a different philosophy. Whatever it takes. You've had your ample opportunities. You move on.
Sheldon Keefe out, Craig Berube in for the Bills.
There you go.
If Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over 4 times, he's probably still got a job today.
Yep.
Okay. More importantly, on our Leaf Hour edition, Max Domi scores in overtime. The Leafs rally from a deficit of 3-1.
Yeah, Jets
right?
scored early in the third, and they come back, score 2, tie it, win in the overtime.
And what almost feels daily from here on in is almost like must wins just to keep up with the Joneses, because whatever we see out of the Leafs somehow, some way gets answered by the majority of the teams in the Eastern Conference.
Ottawa, Montreal, 3-point game. Ottawa, Detroit the next day, 3-point game. Like, it's just, you got to keep up with the Joneses, and they did. To me, that was a pretty good effort top to bottom. I mean, I thought they took it to Winnipeg. I know they were down in the game and had to chase it a bit at the end, but got some good effort from guys. And
they brought their energy back up for this one to close out a tough road trip.
Yeah, and was it
17 shots in the third for Toronto?
Was it a week ago today where you said, sitting in that very seat, that they had to get 5 of 8 points on that trip for it to be successful? And going into that third period, I got to tell you, I didn't expect them to have that effort. Looked like 3 of 8, and that Jets team, they kind of look like the Jets to me.
Yeah,
like
they won 4 in a row going into that.
They looked up for the game. They looked like they were, into it. And they kind of just took it away from them in the third.
Jets last year, you're not coming back on them last year.
I thought they looked really good for the most.
Better, for sure. From what they've been,
they're coming a bit.
That hole's dug way too deep.
Yeah, I agree that the hole's too deep.
Like, I don't think they're going to get back into the playoffs, but I thought they looked like the
Winnipeg
Winnipeg
I don't
Jets
think they're
again.
a 30th place team or if they're 32nd like they were a week ago.
All right, let's go to Craig Berube for our first Clippers. Clipper.
This is an enthralling.
Clippers, Whippers. Craig Berube on the overview of the game.
Yeah, no, he stuck with it. Good character win. Obviously a great way to finish off the road trip. It was a tough trip, but I liked our road trip overall.
Here's my idea.
He was mad.
Here's my idea. You can generate voices now. Let's generate one AI Berube clip per show, and if a listener can guess which one was the AI clip, they can win some sort of prize.
But that just spooks me and freaks me right out.
But that was one. That was AI for sure, right? That was just a Berube formulaic. There's no way that's real.
Here's what I'll say. Like, after the game, I've listened to so much audio from him, and I've really know kind of the beats of his. He was pissed off after that game because he MF'd those the refs going off the ice even after they won. And if you play. There was a couple. If you play the clip 3 on the PK, you can hear in the tone of his voice. Clip 3.
Excellent, especially that kill at the end. That's huge. Wasn't a fan of the 2 of the calls tonight, but I thought our PK, like all year, has been really strong. Part of our game. They did a great job and provided some opportunities the other way too.
So there you go. To give some context for him being boring after the game, he was pretty pissed off.
I don't like beating up on the officials, but I'm seeing some weak calls lately too.
Yeah.
Overall,
guys are mad. And hey, let's just give Scott Laughton a little bit of love. His reaction to the Velarde head snap back was an all-time, not all-time, but is a Leafs moment for the year. I think a lot of Leafs fans liked having someone.
I totally agree with you on that. And he came close to pulling off, Velarde, and then Taves has to come in and kind of make sure that one of their best players is protected. But
it's great because he went back at Taves. Like, you want it too?
Love the energy
Set the
off
tone.
of it.
Yeah.
He just I'm not.
3 minutes left at the end of a road trip. It's.
I love that player. I love the guy.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good.
You want to go to Scott Laughton now, or you want to dive into a few other things?
I do want to note just before we move on. This road trip, the 5, big picture, the 5 of 8 points they got. Mm-hmm. Think how close it was to being 3 points. Nathan McKinnon in overtime in Colorado wrung one off the elbow of the crossbar. Remember that?
Split the bar in 2.
And then Taves on that penalty kill that they're talking about hit one that you thought for sure was in. That could have been 2 points.
They're hanging in. They're scratching. They're crawling. They're getting some puck luck. To your point.
I mean, it went the other way too, but there were moments where it was like, this thing, they're still alive, thankfully.
It just, sitting here looking at the standings, it just really hurts. The start of the season really hurts.
They were so bad.
I don't think the Leafs are, I don't think they're necessarily a team that's a 12 of 13, every 13 games going to have points, clearly, but they're not a bubble playoff team if you look at this Eastern Conference. Like if they had a normal start to the year, where they're just
or even not a stinky one.
That's what I mean. Like a couple games above 500 start to the year, as opposed to what it was, they'd be in a much better spot. And they're in an absolute dogfight, boys.
They are, which
dogfight
includes coming off this road trip into a 5-game homestand, which includes Minnesota tonight, Detroit, Vegas, and Colorado.
And Buffalo next Tuesday.
And okay, we'll add Buffalo in the mix.
Well,
as
I mean, they win every night.
So
Truly.
that's
win
just
today yet?
Again how important Saturday night was. So outside of the obvious, what stuck out for you?
Well, we do have Berube on the road trip. Do you want to hear him give his summary there, clip 4?
Yeah.
Let's just put a bow on that with clip 4.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a tough trip we're on. We're 7 seconds away from getting 6. So extremely good trip for the group.
That's the glass half full when we're looking at it.
Yeah, that's true.
They were 7 seconds away from getting 6, but a couple inches away from getting 3.
I guess the other observation for me then is Oliver Ekman-Larsson's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's making $3.5 million, and he played 25 minutes against Winnipeg, 1 goal, 2 assists, plus 3, 4.
Plus 4.
Plus 4.
Yeah, he's turned into their best defenseman.
I mean, he takes this pass and does not hesitate. Kablamo.
He doesn't show off that offensive pedigree as much, obviously, anymore. Like, he's having a good offensive year, but he used to be one of the more dynamic offensive defensemen in the league.
When he was in Arizona, he was up there with the best. Like, he was paid like the best, right? He was making, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 8 plus. And that was, 4 years ago?
Yeah, maybe more.
And I don't know what happened. They never made the playoffs. He got tired, I guess, of being there. I don't know what happened. But then he goes to Vancouver, and it doesn't even hit there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then he ends up in Florida, where he kind of gets a second wave as a different feel for him, right? Because there he was, I don't know, second, third pair.
I think too. He's one of those guys that has changed who he is as a hockey player. I think he was a skilly power play guy. Fun fact about this run from Ekman-Larsson, and this is from a Jonas Siegel article. He's 1 point off his career high in 5-on-5 points in a whole season. 1 point off his career high. He's got 23 already. 24 is his career high in 5-on-5 points. So he used to get a lot of points on the power play. Yeah. But this is, and he's only played 48 games this year. He's going to pass it by a lot.
There is a comfort zone.
By the way, he signed an 8-year, $8.25 million contract with the Arizona Coyotes.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think he's that comfortable being the guy.
The guy. Yeah.
And if he can quietly come in underneath a layer, and there was not huge expectations when the Leafs signed him to be be that Norris Trophy kind of big boy. He goes down to Florida. He doesn't have to be the man down there. Wins the Stanley Cup, parlays that into what the Leafs are. But he's in a comfort zone right now with minimal expectations. Everything's a bonus with him.
Yeah. Can I ask you a totally off the cuff random question? Do you think there's anything to the idea that the Swedish manor is well equipped to handle the Toronto market? Like, I'm just thinking of some of their best players. Willie does well. Salming was a legend. Sundin's one of their biggest names. Ekman-Larsson's having a good time. Like, is there anything to these guys who are just like, I don't really care. I'm just here to play. They seem a little bit more, I don't know. Is there anything to it?
I mean, there's an undeniable connection between Sweden and the Leafs.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that
Pontus
is.
Holmberg was awesome here.
Until they cut him.
And now he's just great for Tim.
I don't know. I do believe that
there's a manner about the Swedes.
There's a mannerism there that is a little bit on the laid back side. They're typically really great teammates.
Yes, people love
really
that
great, and then that kind of parlays into the media too. They're accessible. They look you in the eye. They don't hide, and all of that can buy you time with the media. They're less likely to kind of rip on you a little bit. I mean, that's goodwill, and I've seen it work in this town.
Interesting. It's a good question.
Just a random thought.
But one of them's got a also help the Leafs win a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice
the next
too.
step.
I would love that. Do you make anything of the fact, I guess this is useful or useless, that the Leafs have had the second most third period rallies and the most blown third period leads in the league this year? Useful or useless?
Yeah,
What does that
okay,
mean?
okay. I can give you something on that here. Yes, it does mean something to me. They have very good offense and very bad defense.
Okay,
Right?
there we go.
They do.
Yeah.
So Anthony Petrilli wrote a good article. Here, I'm going to read a line from him. Leafs are second in the league in 5-on-5 goals so far this season, and they're the only team in the top 10 that have actually been outscored at 5-on-5. So they score a pile, yet
That is strange.
isn't that? And so
That is just strange.
the next line, not helping matters is that the Leafs play Morgan Riley a ton. Over their 12-game hot streak, Riley is averaging about 21 minutes per game and has been on for 20 goals against while getting outscored by 8.
Oh, my God.
Only other guy who's close is Philippe Myers, who's been outscored by 5. So Riley is on the ice for 20 goals against over this hot streak and is -8 over that time. So
20 is a
So
crazy
this,
number.
this to me answers the question. He's one of your most important guys. He plays 27 minutes a night. He's on the ice. He can help you score. He can't help you defend. Things happen when he's out there both ways. I don't know. They might need better defending at the deadline. Like if you're going to add someone, I don't know if you can just grab skill as much as I want them to have more skill.
That's a really telling number.
I actually do think the Pontus Holmberg thing hurts. I was thinking about it last night. I know that's silly and everyone's going to be like, he's nothing. It's like, God, he was so good defensively.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I got
You're preaching to the choir.
Jamie,
Right?
I got no answer. I have no idea why. And ultimately, it's Craig Berube and his staff, why he can't lock it down.
He's got a clip on where their defense has improved here, and I don't think it has.
Okay,
But
let's have a listen.
12, please.
In a few different areas, I think our rush defense has improved tremendously. Our gaps by our D and our forwards getting back above things. I mean, that's, to me, has been the biggest area of improvement. And I think in our D zone, we're killing more plays and not spending as much time in our zone and defensively, just with numbers around the puck and winning those battles and getting out of our zone.
There you go.
You sure about that?
They have been better on rush chances
What
in
a
the past
drop.
5 games.
What a drop.
It could be something to it. But
Sure about
Okay.
that? Injury stuff. Willie.
Yeah, this one is, I guess he had it earlier. They thought they got to it, and now he's back. And with the Olympics coming up here, boys,
Do you want to play clip 7 here?
that's a tough one right here to deal with. What
Let's play the clip from Berube on William Nylander.
Lower body groin. Still, I don't know how long timeline will be for him. Wait till, when he feels good enough to get on the ice and he goes out there and skates and it feels good, then, I expect him to be back fairly quick then. But till then, I'm not sure when he's going to be on the ice.
outside of taking a billboard out on Dundas Square, they can't be more forthright on.
this is this
Injuries.
is incredible. Like, it's so nice to know.
I wonder why.
Yeah, but it
Hey,
is.
we're taking full credit for that.
Yes, we are.
I'm telling you right now, our show is
we
taking
are taking
full
credit.
credit for it. I'll argue anybody.
We drove the
Has
bus.
nothing to do with anything.
Great drop. I agree that we are. However, it's just, have you pulled a groin before? Have you?
Yes, of course.
It's brutal. Like, and you don't really know, and you can kind of tweak it. And so I'm a little bit more understanding for them being like, it's tough to know when he's going to be ready.
Could he just play for 2 minutes, get 2 points, and leave the game every night?
Well, that's the thing. If it's game whatever the playoffs, you definitely say, all right, well, can we do this? But no sense to do it now. What is tough is I've heard people being like, does that mean he came back too soon because he got hurt? What did he play? How many games? 3 games?
Yeah.
From coming back to
He
going
played,
out
he
again?
played Colorado. I think Colorado's his second game back. He played Vancouver on Saturday, Colorado, Utah, got hurt in Vegas. It was his fourth game back.
So you get 4 games in. I don't think you get to say that it was too soon anymore. Like, he was back functioning and playing well, playing very well. So
And I give him credit for wanting to play. like if he is a little bit like we always are worried about them keeping guys out too long. The fact that he wanted to play and he's out there pushing it when he's maybe not perfect, I respect it. And he's playing well. So
He had missed 0 games in the previous 8 seasons.
really,
7 seasons. To injury. Yes.
So what do
There's
you
a couple
do?
illnesses in there. But.
You bubble wrap him here. You let him play a few more games to prove that he's good enough to go over and play in the Olympics for Sweden, or just shut it down?
Here's the thing. If you're doing what's right for the Leafs, this is a no-brainer. That's the perfect time to let him get well and make a push, and you're paying him 11.5 to be a Leaf. But at the same time, you respect the person who this is probably one of their lifelong dreams. So I mean, there's the hockey side, which is a no-brainer. Then there's managing the person. How much does Willie want to go?
and like if you're going to argue about who is the face of the team for Sweden, like is he their like the biggest
else
star
is
in their
there?
team? Like I guess it's Carlson, and there's other guys on that team but he's their probably the biggest star in their team. And God, that's unlucky. Oh, did look sore.
See, I'm totally with you. I'm just scared we've gone so far to the other side now where it's almost going to be, I don't know if the right word's acceptable, but it will be just the cost of doing business, of associating ourselves now with the Olympics. And this is a big deal to the players. And now he gets equal bill on the Toronto Maple Leafs and representing his country. And he's willing to take that chance. And season ticket holders and Leaf fans and everybody that wants so desperately to see this team make the playoffs and take a run at it will have to just eat that.
Mm-hmm. I get the points you make on this Olympic stuff. Like I understand that, the league is all letting the players do this. They've agreed to do it. The players have risked a lot and put up a lot, right? That was a bargaining chip they gave the other side. The players have given up a lot to be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But
Bad negotiations.
well, whatever you think of that, that shows how important it is to them, right?
I know,
that
it
just
is. It
validates
was.
that fact. So
Yeah.
I know that from a pragmatic standpoint, it doesn't make sense for him to play. But there is emotional stakes here too. So,
And I mean,
I'd love to hear Willie talk on this to any reporters listening.
but I can't. I've talked about how badly I want best on best hockey. And if it was a guy that was really important to Team Canada, I'd want them to play. So I can't tuck it to both sides of my mouth.
What if it was a Leaf?
Yeah, definitely.
If Braden Point played for the Leafs
Definitely.
right now, you'd be like, you'd want him to play for Canada?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Of course I would. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I care deeply about Team Canada's success, and I would want a guy that's going to go there and be good. Like, I get why you'd want to go, and I wouldn't ever fault him for pushing it to go.
It's also
wouldn't.
great. You won't, eh?
No.
If he
I
goes
can't.
there and
I can't-
re-aggravates it or
I
something.
can't sit here and talk about how badly I've wanted best on best for the whole time we've done this show, and then we finally get it. And I'm like, well, we better
What
be
if
careful.
he doesn't play any games before he goes?
It'd be concerning, but like, he's the face of their team.
The
It's
tough part with that is it looks like you're skipping NHL games to rest up for the Olympics,
Definitely.
which is
tough. The perception of it will not be good.
Just from a business point of view, like we're talking about a guy that could make the difference between making tens of millions of dollars in a playoff scenario or zero to them.
sure. If they miss playoffs by a point or two and he takes 3 games off pre-Olympics to rest up for the Olympics or something.
It's going to
Right.
suck. And boy, listen, my opinion will not be a common one, especially with Nylander.
Yeah.
Because he's already a lightning rod in this market. And
I
if-
do feel the winds of drama for Willie a blowing here.
How many games pre-Olympics do we need for it to not be fishy?
Yeah, like if he plays 3-4 games prior, no problem, right?
Okay.
He's back, he's playing, he's contributing.
Mhm.
But
But like-
that's in like a week.
He's not on the ice yet, and they have 4 games this week. They have 4 games next week, and then it's the break.
And also, let's just talk about how much this hurts the Leafs, period, right now.
Yeah.
They're in a dogfight against great teams, and now you're looking at a second line that you're talking about bringing up Lawton and Michelli
All right.
to play with Tavares.
All right, let's keep this thing moving, including what you just mentioned, Scotty Lawton on moving up in the lineup. You guys, we've been kind of calling for this.
Yeah.
He's been calling from it. in an indirect way, wanting more, feeling like he has a bigger role for this hockey club. It won't get much bigger than riding shotgun on the second line right now with Johnny T.
He's been in those situations before and played wing, played up with more top six role. He's played some real good hockey for us. So, he has an opportunity to go up there, but it's not. I can move other guys in and out too. So we'll see him move around if that's the case.
He's still. What is it?
He's your Braden Shen. You gave us the Shen clips. You have a little bit of a Shen, a semi-Shen.
Why don't?
I don't know. The last thing I want to do is, if he's in the car right now listening to that, he's Scotty Lawton.
Yeah,
he's going like, you're going to find somebody else. You just said it. You can find anybody else. Yeah. It's like, and it's not reassuring if you're Scotty Lawton listening to that clip.
He scores a big goal for him the other night. He's an emotional driver for him last game.
He doesn't want to commit to Scotty Lawton.
13 minutes in that game against Winnipeg. Sam, you love that he gave the fan the cry face after they won. Like he's all in.
He is,
and the coach is not all in on him.
Just the lines overall, and I know I've said this before, but like, are we all in agreement that Max Domi's the best for Austin Matthews right now?
Right now, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone else?
Yes. No.
Would you be looking at right now anyone else?
No.
I would do McMahon and Willie, but Willie's not playing.
But yet, the feeling was that Max was with that was leading up to the start of the season, and then he pulled the plug on that, and now he's back.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, it just doesn't feel like he's ever really truly sure about his lines.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. The one thing I will say about Domi. So Domi, sometimes I give him a hard time because he makes these hope passes, guess passes, whatever.
They're down, though. Those are significantly down.
But he can make a play. He's among the few guys who can really make a play. It's great sauce from behind the net. He has good vision. And with that, he looks for Matthews. He knows where his bread is buttered, and they got a guy who's red hot.
And that's what Austin wanted all along.
They got a guy who's looking for him.
And part of maybe Austin's frustration this season has been watching the revolving door around his winger there.
I don't know. Is that true?
I wouldn't put it past it. I don't know how Austin feels. I'm just saying that could that be a possibility that part of his frustration or his lack of looking engaged sometimes would have been going, can I just have Max here and keep him here?
Yeah, well, that's working for him for sure. That was Max was +3 last game, goal and assist.
I would have, at the start of the year, if you had to show me that clip of Austin Matthews staring down Hellebuck and going bar down, I would have thought it was from 2022.
Yeah,
so
that looked proper Matthews.
Vintage.
Ting.
Yeah, vintage.
I know in our national hour we're going to get into a few trades that happened already. We will talk about Rasmus Anderson in a bigger picture at the top of the hour. But as far as the Toronto Maple Leafs are concerned with Rasmus Anderson, we had heard all along that Brad Treliving and the Leafs had interest in him, even this year. More so maybe what I had heard was at the last trade deadline. But now you watch him go to Vegas here, and you see the price that they paid.
Yeah.
And is it just a reminder now to Leaf fans that, like, we can't do that?
No.
Right? And don't look for that. There's nothing there. We are dealing with what we have right now. And is it almost an admission right now that you wanted him, but you can't get him?
I didn't want him. Did you want him?
No, not. But I think the greater point is
they're a better player. They're a better team with Rasmus Anderson.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, but I think
in general,
the point though is about shopping for the bigger names that are available.
And he was the biggest.
And the line from Grandma and Happy Gilmore keeps ringing in my head, which is, well, I would have, but I didn't have any money. And that's how I feel. The Leafs don't have any money. They can't buy that. I'm sure they would have paid that, but they don't have any money. They cannot do that.
I'm glad they're broke.
Yeah. Well, there's other people to buy. And
I don't think they're in a position to be.
Derek, can you mark that?
Trading the
I'm
future.
glad they're broke in January because I'll replay
March
it for them.
7th, that's going to be tough when they get
April
outbid
and
on
May.
everyone.
Well, I mean, I would be talking out of
No-
both sides
no
of my
Leaf
mouth
fans.
that I've said the whole time that they should just leave this roster as is and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Like if they trade away what they've got left for
Do you want
Braden,
to tell me where it goes?
for Braden, Luke Shen, I mean, then I don't think there's going to be a lot of happy people. They got to just sit. But I saw that trade and I said, my actual reaction to that was, thank God
Yeah, they didn't.
that they didn't do it. Like,
I was like, how much worse is White Cloud than Anderson? Was my first thought. It's like, is he
I think
much
a
worse?
I think a lot.
They're gonna. He can play. He can play minutes.
Plays 19 a night
He's
for
a
Vegas.
right-handed shot.
6'2", cheap
They
deal.
could re-sign him. Yeah, they got a lot of options there.
Well, though they should flip him.
They could flip
They
him.
should flip him because then you will have traded Anderson for 2 firsts and a second or whatever. You know, it would look huge if you did that.
Okay, let's take a quick break, Sammy.
Sure, let's
We
take a break.
are jam-packed. Mike Russo, NHL writer for The Athletic, will drop by after the break, and we'll get into the Minnesota Wild. Frank Saravelli, NHL insider at the top of the hour, and Brad Larson, former National Hockey League head coach with Columbus and also Calgary, will drop by and give us his thoughts on Rasmus Anderson. Plenty more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Toronto Maple Leafs and Minnesota Wild set to battle it out at Scotiabank Arena. Let's bring in Mike Russo, NHL writer for The Athletic, based in Minnesota. Mike, how are you, my friend?
What's up, Kyper? How are you?
We're good. We're good. So, as far as the Minnesota Wild is concerned, they certainly shot up to another level in terms of how we perceive them with the big trade. But overall, the bigger story, at least for now, is the injury bug and how they come in limping a little bit in Toronto.
Yeah, that's been the story of the last couple of years with this team, and they went through a week and a half where they were healthy, and of course that was too good to be true, and now they suddenly are out without a bunch of guys, and so they're missing an entire line tonight, which has been their best line of the season. Joel Eriksson centering Matt Boldy and Marcus Johansson, Jonas Brodin, and Zach Bogosian also out of the lineup. So all five of those guys are still back in Minnesota, won't be in Montreal tomorrow as well. And yet the other night in Buffalo, they figured out a way to play really well for that game and wound up getting 2 points with the extra point in overtime. So we'll see tonight how they do against the Toronto team that seems to have turned its season around here the last month.
I am legally obligated to ask you a Quinn Hughes question now. So how has his impact been on the Minnesota Wild? What has changed since he has arrived?
Well, they're obviously scoring a lot more. They've won a lot of games here. They've been a little blip, a little of the radar lately, but Quinn's been outstanding. The one biggest thing that the difference is that they're getting production from their entire blue line, just not him. Before he arrived on December 14th, they were 29th in the NHL in blue line points. Now they're first or second in the league in that span. But he has just completely changed their ability to get out of the defensive zone. He's their ability to just transition 5-on-5 has been second to none, and he's still playing 29, 30 minutes a game. But even he's been saying in the last couple of days that it feels like a little bit of an easier type of 30 minutes than he had in Vancouver, just because they're a better team. He loves playing with Brock Faber. Faber's been outstanding playing next to him. He has completely changed just the way that they play offense right now. Their power play, I know, has been one area where they want to improve. It's been a little up and down, but again, you're playing a number one power play tonight where suddenly you're without Boldy, you're without Eriksson, and that changes the complexion of that number one unit.
You're watching and listening to Michael Russo, NHL writer, talking Minnesota Wild. So even with Ekman Lars or Eriksson Ek. Oh my God!
You got it.
I like OEL better, but Mike, even with Ek, they're questionable down the middle. Now I'm looking at Ryan Hartman, maybe their number one centerman, going up against Tavares and Matthews. There has to be. You can't just go Quinn Hughes and then cut the tap off if you're Billy Guerin here. So it has to be a number one centerman in my eyes. To think about going up against the likes of a Dallas and a Colorado.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think Billy Guerin would completely agree with you. That's easier said than done, though. I mean, it's been 25 years of this organization that they've been looking for a number one center. Obviously, Marco Rossi went in the Quinn Hughes trade, and so for a team that already lacked depth up the middle, now you crater it a little more. Danilo Urov looks like he's going to be on the rise. Obviously, Ek being out of lineup, it hurts, and Hartman, as you mentioned, is playing the number one unit, but number one line. But to your point, you don't give up four huge assets for Quinn Hughes to get this team to approach contender status. But know that you have to play Dallas probably in the first round, and if you get by Dallas, Colorado in the second round, without getting another center. So he hopes to make another big swing. The question is who that player is. There's only so many centers out there right now, and even those guys, I think that you'd question whether or not they're a true number one center. So I do expect at some point that Bill is going to try to make a move. He's been trying. I talked to him for a while the other day. But the other issue is that they have traded a lot of assets in the last couple of years, both in the Quinn Hughes trade, in the David Jiricek trade. They traded a second in the Nyquist trade last year. So they're suddenly without, when you trade for equivalents of first round picks for Quinn, you just don't have a lot of prospects anymore, or A+ prospects left. So it will be really interesting as we get closer to the trade deadline what he plans to do. But I do certainly expect at some point he is going to have to address the center position before the deadline.
One of the places the Wild been very good is in net. Gustafsson and Wallstedt seem like they're kind of going back and forth. I know Gustafsson's got more games on the season. Where are things at? I see there was a Wallstedt back-to-back in there not long ago. Are things shifting with who would be the primary goaltender there?
Yeah, I mean, Gus is playing again tonight after winning the other night. So lately it hasn't been, for about a month and a half, it was a strict rotation. Now, even after shutouts, there were 3 or 4 times where the goalie got the shutout the game before, did not start the next game, which, as we know, is abnormal in the NHL. Lately, they've been going more, depending on the opponent and the strengths of those teams or where those players have played well in the past. So Gus the other night wins in Buffalo. Wally's going through a bit of a tough stretch right now. He's given up 3 or more goals in 6 of his last 7 starts. He'll get the game in Montreal tomorrow. But Gus has been really good. Wally's had an unbelievable, 6-week stretch there from the beginning of November until mid-December, and that has definitely been one of the strengths of this team.
Mike, over the last 3 or 4 years, our good pal here, Sammy McKee, has been all over the fact that a very good team in the Atlantic the last few years, Tampa, Florida, Toronto, end up getting eliminated early in the first round. There's no question that Minnesota has gone to another level in terms of the excitement of their fan base. But is there any talk down there about the playoff format and the fact that they will, in all probability, play a very good Dallas team, and one very good team will be eliminated in the first round? Is that kind of taken away any of the excitement, or not?
Well, I think that the Wild perennially or have exited in the first round, so there's always trepidation going into the playoffs amongst the fan base. But to your point, this is a year that there's a very good chance. I mean, you could have technically the 3 top teams in the NHL, and one of them is going to start on the road, and 2 of them might not get to the third round. I mean, you could say that in a lot of years, but the playoff format is something that Gary Bettman, trust me, we've asked him year after year after year about the format and whether it makes sense to go back to 1 versus 8. And he seems to be the one naysayer that as long as he's in charge, it's not going to change. I do think this will be a subject again at the GM's meetings in March, which I'll be at. I don't think Gary, we know that he loves this format. I think he's stubbornly going to stand by it. But this is a year where I do think that this could be a year where all of a sudden people start talking more and more about it, because it just does seem unfair, where it doesn't seem like it's the right format when you have the easier path to a Stanley Cup being a wild card team. It just seems to be completely the antithesis of the way that it should be in professional sports. And so, I mean, Wild fans have talked about it. Would it be smarter for them to fall back to that wild card spot and maybe go play in Edmonton or somebody cross like they did last year when they played Vegas? So we'll see that when we get there. But Wild fans are always nervous about the playoffs, whether it's this format or any other.
So how soon do you expect there to be reinforcements coming for this Wild team? You look at these Colorado and Dallas, you're just talking about it. It's like, is this going to happen soon to get the most value, or is it like a deadline post-Olympics thing?
Yeah, I do think that if Billy can pounce early, that he's going to try to make a move. But again, the one thing that when you have as few assets as they have remaining, you also don't want to take the first thing that falls in your lap, and then next thing you know, you're shut out of something else that might pop up closer to the trade deadline. Or if you add a guy with a bunch of term, next thing you know, this summer, if some big thing happens and falls in your lap, that you're not going to be able to get involved. And Billy, the one thing with the buyout pain that this team went through the last 4 years is that he's been pretty much on the sideline. And I don't think that he enjoyed that. I think that's why he went out and shocked the world with the Quinn Hughes trade. But there's also the element here that Quinn has 1 year left on his contract afterwards. And if you're going to, go on a run, you've opened up the window now and you've got to make a move. So it's going to be just really fascinating what Billy's got up his sleeve. He's running his organizational scouting meetings right now in Arizona. And then when he comes back, you pretty much, the February 4th trade freeze comes into play very, very quickly. I mean, it's basically 9 days from today, I believe. Or excuse me, 2 weeks and 2 days from today. And so I'll just be really interested to see where he goes from here.
Mike, just one more for me, and that's just Quinn Hughes. I up here in Canada, everybody would be discussing every day, is he staying or is he going? And that's still another season away. How about in Minnesota and the talk about Quinn Hughes up until now? Will it remain? Is it quiet? Will it remain quiet? Where do you see the cutoff between, okay, when do we start really seriously talking about if this guy's got a real future here?
Yeah, I think definitely after this season, a lot of it will depend. I mean, he wants to win, and the one thing I could tell you is that he is thoroughly enjoying the team and his teammates. I sat down with his parents about a week ago in Minnesota for hour and a half, and the one thing that both his parents said, but especially Jim, is that he's really enjoyed his time there and loves his teammates, loves the way that they're playing, believes that they're a team that can win now as well. So. But, again, he's got a lot of connections throughout the National Hockey League, and there's going to be a lot of teams that would absolutely love him. So I do think when I talk to him and to Pat Brisson, they're both keeping an open mind here. I think that he even said after he got traded here that he's well aware, and he is a hockey nerd, he's well aware of what Billy Guerin gave up to get him in 4 huge pieces. He loves the way that he's treated so far, starting with Billy Guerin and Chris Kelleher, flying in New Jersey and picking him up on a private plane, and the way he's been treated once he got to Minnesota. So I genuinely believe that he will resign, whether it's 8 years or maybe 3 years even to align himself with Jack. That could be a possibility. But I do think that he so far is loving his time in Minnesota. He's happy to be back in the Midwest, close to his folks. I'm happy to be in the United States, but again, the Wild have to show him that they could win here. I think when he looks at this team and sees guys like Faber and Boldy and Kaprizov in their prime, the great goaltending that they have, I think that he's enjoying that element and believes that he can win here. But at the end of the day, the Wild have to win in the playoffs, and that's something that they really haven't been able to do since their 3rd year of existence when they shocked the world and went to the conference final.
Michael, great stuff, man. Enjoy the game tonight. Really appreciate you stopping by.
Anytime, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Russo. Appreciate it.
Mike Russo, NHL writer for The Athletic, covering the Minnesota Wild.
I just think it tough sell on Minneapolis right now. While it's like minus 20 Celsius in the middle of January, and you got a bunch of high school dropout stormtroopers taking over the city right now. It's a tough. What do you think of Minneapolis? What a war zone.
It's great in the summer.
Yeah.
Great in the summer.
I swear it's not always like this, Quinn. Tough sell, man.
It is. There's only one
true.
thing that can trump it.
What? Oh.
Yes.
Winning.
Win.
Winning.
Yeah, well,
Win.
they're missing half their line, like their whole second line.
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know, man. They got to play against that division.
Stolars on the potential return here. We got Craig Berube, clip 10. I want to get into this.
Yep.
Timeline for Stolarz' return yet?
No, he's getting close, though. He's practicing now, and he's feeling good. I think it's just getting him in a few more practices here, and, you could see a return from him. But I still think he needs a little more practice time.
This is going to be a bit of a tough call here because he's going to come in, and if Stolars plays, he's going to win now. Mm-hmm. It's like there's no warm-up. There's no a week to feel good here. You want to disrupt Hildeby and Joseph Wall right now. If you're coming in, you better be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there no conditioning stint, boys? Is that not allowed?
Yeah, you know,
Like,
I'm trying not to be sarcastic, but do you want to put him at risk for just more games that don't count for your team? Like,
yeah, you do.
You know, yeah.
You do, yeah. You got to be. You got to test it.
So then,
okay?
yeah, let's
you got
do
to
it.
test it.
That's
if
allowed,
the
right?
Wheels,
Yeah.
If the wheels are going to fall off,
Hey, you're allowed a 2 week.
Let it be in with the Marlies.
Okay.
Don't
Perfect.
come up here and.
Well, then let's get her going.
Yeah.
Send her to the Marlies. Let him play until the Olympics. That's 2 weeks away, the break, and then see how it goes.
He's been off for over 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
2 months.
2.5.
November 11th.
2.5, yeah. 2.5.
2.5. Like that, he needs a week with the Marlies.
We saw what Aiden Hill looked like when he came back in that game against the Leafs, where it's like he couldn't find the net, and he was off for 3 months or 4 months at that time. It's hard.
Stolars has experience coming back from long injury layoffs. He's a veteran of this game.
It's not the worst point I've ever heard either.
I mean, he's so good. He's such a good goalie. It's such a shame to have these conversations.
Yeah. But he's right now, those two guys, Hildeby and Joseph Wall, you know you're going to be in the hockey game,
True.
right?
Yeah, I mean, they've been giving you all the saves you could possibly ask for.
I thought Hildeby was really good on Saturday.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
he
he
was good.
continues to get the job done. And for Stolarz now to be the third wheel to come in or even potentially send Hildeby down, he's going to have to come in and be great right away because, as we know, there's not that much wiggle room. Did we hear Buffalo lost this afternoon?
They lost in regulation to the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1. I will say, like, not to be too hyperbole too much here, but like Hildeby kind of saved their season.
Okay.
Like
Carry on.
The way he's played as like the backup sort of 1B.
Had he had like a Kaskasuo type run, they're
If
done.
he stunk when he was the starter.
The
for
Hilda
2
Beast.
weeks when Wall got hurt and he was good and he's been really good when Wall's needed a blow. Like the points that he's accumulated throughout this stretch has saved their season.
Yeah.
It has. And I didn't expect it in a million years after watching him last year.
Totally. Even talking to Valley, like, the technically not awesome.
Valley doesn't love him.
No. Still thinks there's some regression coming, but
Hopefully Stolarz gets
He
back
has
when
his
that happens.
moments,
For sure.
but overall, I'm with you, Sammy.
As far as your third stringer goes, you can't ask for much more, boys.
we also have yet to talk about Matthew Nyes, who is not going to play tonight.
Nyes.
Am I speaking out of turn there?
Play the quick, the Nyes clip.
What's the issue?
5.
Here, play the clip. It's clip number 5 on Nyes.
What's the latest on Matthew Nyes?
I still dealing with the same thing. It'll be a game time decision tonight. Well, yeah, it's obviously bothering him a lot, for quite some time, and hasn't gotten really much better. Other than when he gets some breaks, Christmas time and stuff, he comes back, it feels better, but it's it's an ongoing issue.
What?
This is one of those ones
What?
where it's like,
Tell us.
why now? Yeah,
You told us groin.
Yeah.
You told us, Groin.
Now tell us what else it
We've
is.
talked nerve. We've talked plate in the foot for Carlo. We've talked. What is it?
Let us know.
Hip flexor, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
one-
I
one
will
of these
say, I feel
goofy-
moderately encouraged that he's been playing with a nagging something because he's looked like he's playing with a nagging something.
I give him
For a
credit
guy who
playing.
just gave 7 years, 7 whatever, you want him.
They need him.
The ceiling is still. Yeah, they do need him, but hopefully it's nothing that lingers too long because, as you said, important player.
That Olympic break will do him good.
Help Tavares too. Tavares needs
Yes.
a little boost,
Yeah,
and
he
he'll
needs-
come back fresh.
He could use a good break as well. Okay, our thanks to Michael Russo covering the Minnesota Wild. When we return, we go insiders on our national program. Frank Saravelli, Brad Larson, former NHL coach.
From the
All right, time to take it to another level on our national show. It's the Real Kyper and Bourne show. We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you miss our show, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, YouTube, where the chats are going well. And give us a thumbs up if you get a chance. This hour, Real Kyper and Bourne, brought to you by Bet365. In a few minutes, we'll get into the NHL trades with Frank Saravelli. In the meantime, thoughts on what we may see as an artificial deadline before the Olympics, where teams are pushing hard now?
Yeah.
We saw two of probably the top names. Kadri's still out there, of course, with Calgary, and we'll get into that a little bit more with Frank. But two big names gone.
You know, we had heard some people, and I forget if it was on this show or not, but just talking about how, they may want to wait till after the Olympics. But like, the standings are tight, and it's going to be a real fight for a very few assets out there. If you want to do something, you kind of got to do it now. So I like that some shoes have dropped. Makes deadline maybe a little less thrilling, but big move for Vegas, big move for the Sharkies, who are getting serious about trying to hang.
We talked about it on Friday about after watching that Vegas decor being like, leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And I'm surprised they traded White Cloud. Like, he's a guy that played a ton for them.
Do you have the official trade? And then also we'll mention the Kyper.
It was White Cloud, a first, and a second that turns into a first if they win the
Stanley Cup.
Okay. And a defenseman, or another asset.
I think
Abram Weeb.
Yeah, okay.
That is the most creative player name I've ever heard. Abram Weeb.
Is the prospect's name. Or not even a prospect. He's like 27 or something, isn't he?
UND.
No disrespect to the guy. I just don't know who he is. That's all. I don't know.
It sounded more like a shift of contracts than it does an actual player that is going to help us win the Stanley Cup.
White Cloud, and a second that can become a first.
22?
Now,
yeah.
Okay.
Now, White Cloud also could become a first at the deadline. Cheap deal, valuable defender, right shot, big guy, tough.
Yeah,
good contract.
I think they've got a few options there. All right, let's welcome in Frank Saravelli. Been on the show before, of course, NHL Insider, host of Frankly Speaking on Victory Plus. Frank, how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
You getting all your work done early before the trade deadline in March? We just mentioned about maybe an artificial trade deadline coming up here before the Olympics. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of teams that would like to get some of their work done before then, particularly in guys that they could move out. Now, the push and pull is that with the Olympics coming up and obviously some high leverage hockey there, that you're going to be dealing with injuries. And so I'm wondering if we see a flurry on the back end of it from the Olympic sprint and gold medal game wrapping up right to March 6th with the deadline, that teams are going to have to reevaluate positions based on needs and what's coming out of the Olympics.
So the Anderson deal finally gets done. What did you think of the return? Was there anything similar out there, or was this clearly the best of the bunch?
I think this was the best of the situation, really, and it's not the best of the bunch. I believe the Boston Bruins put a better offer on the table, and in fact, probably one that the Calgary Flames would have preferred. But in the end, the unwillingness from the Anderson camp to sign an extension with anyone at this point in time. The Boston Bruins backed out at that point. Other teams that had tried to get in the mix, I believe the Los Angeles Kings were another one that he did not entertain a contract negotiation with, that certain teams had to either lessen their offer or were out completely, leaving one team left standing with the goods to make a deal. And that's a team with maybe the most different risk profile of any in the NHL. And that's the Vegas Golden Knights.
And so is he going to re-sign there? Sorry, Kip, to jump in, but
same question.
You get the vibe that will happen?
Yeah, I think that's the expectation. I mean, a lot of people have viewed this as a fait accompli, maybe even to a certain extent, that with the Boston Bruins, was all of this a smokescreen? Was this really the preferred destination all along? And how did they manage the situation and the messaging to get him to Vegas to then now turn around and the expectation is $64 million on the open market. Well, can he sign for a number that's the equivalent of that in Vegas on a long-term deal? I think that's what everyone's looking for.
And if you look at the history of Brad or Kelly McCrimmon and George McPhee, like whether it's Eichel or Hannafin, they don't make these moves without getting their guy. I'm not saying it's done. I'm not saying it's in a drawer, but come on, they have to have something in some type of an agreement of where that number is, and we can get it done.
I agree with you, Kyper. I think when you look at this situation, I mean, that's why their risk profile is the way that it is, because they have the confidence that even if Rasmus Andersson was unsure about the nature of coming to Vegas, which I think he was pretty set on, the idea that you'll come here and like it is probably a pretty strong one. I don't know, maybe for everyone except for Mitch Marner.
So I'm just going to gloss over that. Boston Bruins, then they don't get him, but that's interesting enough that they were willing to part with what seemed like significant assets for a guy. So they are a team that, I don't want to say going for it, but we expect the Bruins to make other moves then to get someone.
Well, I don't know if get someone is the line of thinking for the Boston Bruins, in the sense that we were talking about the premier rental defenseman available in Anderson. And the reason why the Bruins were so interested is because they didn't want to let him be a rental. They wanted to acquire a player with term attached to him. And the only way to do that in their case is now to trade for someone with term or get an extension done. And I think part of the reason for that is this season has been up, down, and all over the place for the Bruins. They were really good for a stretch of time. They've been really poor for a stretch of time. They've been sort of teetering on the edge of this mess that is the Eastern Conference standings. They're trying to figure out exactly what they are. Are we a team that is going to be, pushing closer toward being aggressive? Should we sit back? Or what is our posture moving forward? And that's really what they've been trying to figure out.
So, Frank, we assume that with the Calgary trade to Vegas for Rasmus, there's a lot of things that you worry about if you're Calgary, and that includes an injury to what was regarded as maybe the number one trade chip, I think, on most trade boards, right? And the Olympics coming up, and if he gets hurt, you lose a ton here. But Kyper Sherwood isn't going to the Olympics last time I checked. What was Vegas's rush to move him to San Jose now? Vancouver, sorry. Vancouver's rush to trade him to San Jose. This one kind of, I don't know, doesn't bother me, but I'm like, shop him around, like get the price up, get some bidding wars, because this guy was a sought-after piece as well.
Well, they did do that, and that's been ongoing for the last 4 to 5 weeks now. I mean, essentially really coming out of the holidays, particularly right after New Year's, the Canucks and Sherwood's camp had engaged in talks again. Hey, just double checking to see if we're close on an extension, and they weren't. And so since then, they've been making a really concerted effort. They had presented to teams like they were pretty close on making a deal, I'd say upwards of 10 days ago. It was essentially, for a long time, it was first team to put a first-round pick on the table gets Kyper Sherwood, and they didn't get that to materialize, so they landed with the San Jose Sharks and 2 second-round picks, plus a player to make the 50 contract limit work for San Jose. And there were a couple things that teams were concerned about. I reported 10 days ago that the teams in the mix for Sherwood were Dallas, Anaheim, Boston, well, the Rangers, not anymore, and San Jose. So in this case, some teams were concerned about shooting percentage uptick, and is the results that we've seen from Sherwood, can he replicate those again? And then the other part of it, connected to it, was the next contract for Kyper Sherwood. He's not exactly a young UFA. And so when you look at the market and how it's developed, teams have ballparked somewhere around 5 or 6 years north of $5 million per year. And there were a number of teams that could have used the player. I think New Jersey was one of those teams. I think at a certain point, Montreal was considering potentially dipping their toe in the Kyper Sherwood sweepstakes, but they didn't or weren't comfortable with paying the contract on the back end of it, which is why you see a team like San Jose enter. They give up the 2 second-round picks, And in exchange, I think we're all expecting at some point in time, they don't have one in place now, but to work on a contract extension for Kiefer Sherwood to make him part of the fabric of their team moving forward.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a cheap deal, but if you're going to make that move, you sure better sign the guy. So Vancouver's doing stuff. You know, we got Elias Pettersson's name is once again out there. How much stuff are they doing? Is this going to happen this year, do you think?
I think there's definitely a growing suspicion from teams that it does happen this year. And I mean, there are some thinking maybe even potentially before the Olympics.
Really?
Now, that feels kind of quick, but the Canucks have been in this spot where they're ready to and willing to consider anything and everything pretty much throughout the course of their organization. And I think the other part is the market that we've just talked about, which is look at the deals signed for Dvorak and Wenberg, $5.15 million for Dvorak and $6 million for Wenberg. And all of a sudden you turn around and you look at Elias Pettersson and you say, if we believe this is a guy that we can rejuvenate, get his career going again with a change of scenery, all of a sudden $11.6 million a year doesn't sound like a crazy risk profile.
What would Carolina give up for him?
I think Carolina is one of a handful of teams right now that has been burning up the Canucks. I think the expressions of interest and significant interest at that has really ratcheted up in a significant way for Vancouver, that they're trying to have to look at this in a serious way right now.
Frank, let's keep things moving around the National Hockey League, including a second letter out of the New York Rangers. And in it, they spoke of a core that they'd like to build around. In your estimation, outside of Shesterkin, who is the core?
That's it.
What is the core? Yes, I think is a great question, Kipper. And, you know, it's in my view, a pretty small group of individuals right now that you'd bolt down and say, this is who's going to be part of the New York Rangers moving forward. Shesterkin, probably Adam Fox, likely Braden Schneider on the back end, Will Cooley up front. And then after that, I think you are seeking prices and values on just about everyone else on your roster. And that's a really uncomfortable place to be, because the blueprint with those players as the foundational pieces moving forward is not very sturdy. You wouldn't be building a skyscraper in Manhattan based off of that. And so I don't know if it's missed opportunity along the way. I don't know if it's an aborted rebuild from the other letter that you referenced from 2018 from Jeff Gorton, that they kind of got halfway through it and decided to pivot and contend. I mean, this is a team that did win a President's Trophy along the way. And I think they've got some real questions to answer about how the state of things moving forward, who's going to be there and who's not. It's an uncomfortable time for the New York Rangers.
And just want to get a sense for coaching hot seats around the league. This is maybe the time of year if it happens.
I just wanted to ask him about Panarin.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll
go second.
Yeah, just one more on the Rangers before we pivot.
Stay with it.
Panarin, and up against a no move, and your thoughts on whether or not he'll decide to stay and play it out to free agency, or will he accept a trade?
Oh, I think he'll be accepting a trade. I don't see any incentive to want to stay for a team that's going in the opposite direction, where, if anything, your numbers may be stifled a bit. And by the way, Panarin, point per game player in every season in New York. Outside of Zdeno Chara, I'd say one of the very best and most productive free agent signings we've ever seen in the salary cap era when you look at his numbers. And when you look at the teams around the league that are looking for high-end skill, I think there's a few teams that stand out. Washington and their general manager, Chris Patrick, on the record last week saying, we want a high-skilled winger. Hello, Washington. The Minnesota Wild, could you imagine putting Artemi Panarin opposite Kirill Kaprizov and the magic that they could make there? I think there's a number of teams that are looking at this situation going, I don't know if we're in for the long haul with Panarin. And by long haul, I mean legitimately that, in the sense that the belief is around the league that Panarin is looking for a longer-term deal, potentially one that even takes him to 40. I don't know how much teams have a stomach for that. Someone will, because it only takes one. But even as a rental, he's viewed as a very attractive option, where maybe outside of New York, he doesn't have to be the guy for the first time and could be that really nice supporting piece.
Do you want me just to reiterate that question? Do you remember it? Coaches and hot
I
seats.
remember you guys bantering. So go ahead.
Coaching hot seats. Is there anyone around the league? Like, it feels like we've had minimal changes this year, but a lot of rumors about coaches that could be in trouble. But, we're kind of getting to that point, aren't we?
We are, and I think there's that opportunity potentially even before the Olympics to get everyone on the same page before a break. Guys get a vacation, some of them are going to Milan, and to set a standard and an expectation before you get to the crunch time of March, I think would be really helpful from a scheduling perspective. And I also think same thing for potential trades. Why wait till the last minute when you can have a guy be able to use the Olympic break to get his family settled if he's interested, or to understand what the scheme is, to be able to find his way around the city or the rink or even team structure and how things work? All really important things. But when it comes to coaching hot seats in general, I think a few of them stand out. And it's kind of amazing that Dean Evison ended up being the first one fired this year because, I mean, think about all the various names that have floated through that mill over the course of this season. I mean, Craig Berube was on that hot seat for a while. Sheldon Keefe in New Jersey. We've talked about Jim Hiller. At a point in time, people were calling for Scott Arniel. I mean, it has been a whole whack of different coaches this season. But right now, I'd be focusing squarely on Hiller and the Los Angeles Kings, who feel like they're running out of patience.
Speaking of which, the Rangers aren't the only team struggling in the greater New York area. You mentioned the Devils, Sheldon Keefe, Tom Fitzgerald had a press conference that many people were feeling like he needed to step up at the podium. How much are they feeling it, including what to do with Dougie Hamilton now? And what's realistic for a guy that still has another 2 years, I think, at $9 million? What are you hearing on that?
Well, it's not an easy transaction. We know that. And I do believe there's a handful of teams that are interested if the Devils are willing to retain a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean knock $2 million or $2.5 million off of that number. And I think they're ready to take on the Dougie Hamilton experiment at 7 or 7.5. But at the same time, they're not really willing to give you anything of substance or value in order to make that happen. So what's the incentive for the Devils? It's to clear the deck. It's to get what has been a festering situation. And I don't mean Hamilton specifically. I mean that whole aura hovering over their dressing room, which I think has enabled their season to spiral here. And then the other part of this is who is part of this core on the back end, who's staying, who's going, who's getting the ice time, who's getting the opportunity, and then figure out the rest from there. But make no mistake, the New Jersey Devils as a whole, from top to bottom, including Tom Fitzgerald as general manager, are very much under evaluation from Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment as to whether or not the general manager and the coaching staff moving forward are going to be back.
Frank, I think a tweet that maybe most got my ire up of all time might have been CJ just tweeting that in Italy, that they were back at work after the weekend on the rink, or feverishly at work, after the weekend. And I was like, they weren't working on the weekend? What is happening? Is it going to be built? What's the amenities? What's going on over there?
Well, I feel like this is a direct shot at someone whose last name ends in a vowel, and may or may not have some connections to the construction industry. But what I'll say
My
is,
apologies if that's true.
No, it's great. One of the great stories from some of the stakeholders who have been involved in this Olympics is they've gone over there multiple times, and part of the discussion points have been from the Italian authorities. What do you mean you guys need this rink done in January? The games don't start until February. And so they've all been kind of like blown away by the response and the nonchalant attitude of the Italians in general, which it's a different way of life, that's for sure. But look, in the end, this is going to get done. It's not going to have all the creature comforts that NHL players are used to. But I want to remind everyone that the look and feel on TV for fans, it probably won't change. And anyone can do anything for a 12-day tournament.
Just in terms of who ultimately is on rosters here, any word on Braden Point? Some are suggesting maybe he might not be ready. If so, what are you hearing on that front and possible replacements?
Yeah, I would say that the glass is half empty, not half full on the Braden Point front. I believe Team Canada is trying to give him all the runway possible to show that he's making progress and healing up. I believe in a perfect world, they'd like to be making this decision by February 1st or 2nd as to whether or not Point is a go or no go. And I think they have a list of 5 players, 5 forwards that they're sort of actively considering at this exact moment in time as a replacement. And so they're going to work through that. Wyatt Johnson, Connor Bedard, Sam Bennett, Zach Hyman. I mean, you go through that group of players, like probably can't go wrong with any of them.
Yeah. Do you want to stay on the Olympics? Okay. Just last one for me, because we were not able to get you in our Leafs hour and our NHL hour. The Leafs heading towards the deadline earlier in the year, buyers, middle of the year, sellers. This year, where are they at, Frank?
They are the person at the table that's in the poker game but has a low chip stack.
Okay. Yep, they're waiting for the perfect hand to get aggressive.
Well,
Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah, not so much perfect hand, but perfect, I'd say, opportunity and fit. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Maybe you're right, is that maybe someone like Hamilton does make a lot of sense. You'd still have to do some cap surgery and try and figure that out, but you'd give your team a boost and a shot in the arm while also not really spending assets that you don't have to spend. So when I said low chip stack, I mean, they want to be in the game. They want to be aggressive. They want to make something happen, but there's limitations into how big of a game they can get into. And that's really what they're sifting through right now.
He is Frank Saravelli with a vowel at the end of his name. Thanks for joining us,
wonderful.
pal.
See you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Host of Frankly Speaking on Victory Plus.
It
is where
is
you can find him.
It is crazy, the whole Olympic situation for these hockey players. Yes, they're going to be fine. Yes, the games are going to go on. Maybe they're going to be sitting on turned over buckets while they tie their skates.
I'm really surprised at the obsession over this rink still.
I don't know. I have, I've heard that there is this exactly what he said, where they're kind of like, it'll be fine. No, what's the big deal? It'll be ready for the games. And I think there's real chance that it kind of is not great.
You all smiles.
I just think that's hilarious. The game's January, games start February.
Yeah, what
Relax.
do you need for in February and January?
Relax, pal.
Like, when did they find out
hack
they got
another
the games?
dart?
2018?
Like, good to go. 2019. I think 2 weeks after the Raptors won the championship, they found out.
Bonkers.
Can't screw up just freezing.
Why do you
water.
not think it's a?
I just think we're past that, and at that point where, like we said, few parents may show up without seats. Like, it's not the end of the world. They'll find folding chairs for them, but the game's going to get played.
We're officially at the point of it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. They're not going to pull the players out of there now. No. It's way too far in the process, and the rink's not going to be perfect, so maybe we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. How about those owners who let their players go over? They're like, can we get like a seat for the game? No, we don't really have seats, so.
I mean, if you want to pay 3,000 euros, yeah. you can hop right in here. What'd you make of him mentioning Wyatt Johnson?
I like him. I think Dallas isn't playing really well right now.
He's been red hot.
Yeah, he's been really good. Him and Rantanen have looked really, really good.
Zach Hyman's an interesting name. Like, there's a lot of very good options. Here's what I'll say. If they pick Wyatt Johnston, it will be because they watch Wyatt Johnston a lot more than I do. You know what I mean? Like, this guy, we have famous people and names we know and all that, and it's like, that one's not as familiar. These guys watch the hell out of hockey, and if they choose him, it's because he's awesome.
It's a lot like Harley in the Four Nations.
Totally.
Where we're
That's
like,
a great example.
Harley's going in, and it's like, oh, Harley's their best guy.
Awesome.
Oh, my God. All of a sudden, he's the best guy on the ice.
At some point, you have faith that Doug Armstrong and John Cooper know hockey pretty good.
For sure.
And all the rest of the brass.
Save that one. Save that clip, too, when...
We've all watched Sam Bennett play some pretty good games.
When they win the silver.
Well, but listen, it's a one-game elimination tournament, right? Like, if you have the best team, you got a 55% chance of winning.
Like we said, we could send 2 teams over there.
Sure, and our second team might beat the first team 3 out of 7 games, I
know we touched on this briefly, but the Vancouver Canucks, do you really feel like there's just going to clean house here.
They should.
I don't know, because I get the mixed messages from people where it's like, they don't want to do that there. They want to keep, butts in seats. But yeah, to Sam's point, Petey's not a part of the solution.
I like San Jose ending up like when we talk about some teams with low chips at the poker table, as Frank alluded to, and Toronto being one of them. There's also another GM there with a pile, and that is San Jose. That's Utah. That's Montreal. These are the new players at the trade deadline now.
Yeah, they got the big stack at the table for sure. They got the chips
right?
to play here.
For Vancouver, I don't think it's a bad trade. Two potential
2 seconds. Good,
it's good. But it's not good now.
You also might have got two guys who've never played.
I don't
in the NHL.
understand where the rush was when if things continue and you've got 20 teams within the last 10 days, say you come out of the Olympics and there's 20 legitimate teams that think that they're going to get in with one trade. Why wouldn't you hold him, tell 20 teams, I've got 2 second rounders, okay? And I will trade them today if you can't beat it. This doesn't make any sense to me, January 19th, to get rid of one of the higher named guys on the trade board.
Couple of things that come to mind is
and get maybe that first rounder.
Is potential injury to Sherwood. Right now you're trading a healthy asset for sure. The other thing is, we don't know, San Jose could say, we're doing something now. We have to get better today. I got 2 seconds for you today, and if not, we're going to get.
But at least they established the marketplace, right? For me, anyways, I would have played harder on.
I feel wishy-washy about the return for San Jose for doing that, for giving up 2 seconds and being like, yeah,
you know what though?
He's 29.
You've mentioned this multiple times before.
Yeah,
that you just have to get
at some point. You got to start
players
trying to play,
and you have
totally.
You maybe have like the 3rd best player in the league on your team now.
Yeah.
And he's just unbelievable. And
they're in a playoff race in a soft division. You get a chance to be in the fight. Yeah. Good pro. I get it all.
Game time?
Game time.
It's game time. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. 10 games on the ice tonight. One of them has been played. A couple of them are being played as we speak. Just going to quickly look at the Leafs hosting the Wild. Pretty even game here. -110 on both sides of the money line. The first game back from a long road trip. We know how that one usually goes. We've talked about this in the past. Sometimes a letdown spot. I don't mind the Minnesota Wild at -110 tonight.
I mean, no Nylander, and if there's no Nyes, you like that. I know Minnesota's pretty banged up too. But.
Yep. Later on, the New York Islanders in Vancouver to take on the Canucks that we were just talking about. Canucks are struggling. New York Islanders fighting for a playoff spot. They need one. -140 on the money line, like the Islanders after watching what I watched on Saturday night after the Leafs game.
Yeah.
Going to be a long rest of the year in Vancouver. You wanted the rebuild. You're about to watch rebuild hockey.
But I think you fans are smart.
100%.
I'm sure Halford and Bruff are dealing with this all the time. It's like at least there's starting to move towards a plan here.
But watching the Oilers fire 6 in your net still sucks.
Yeah, the Oilers hung 5 on someone the next night, back-to-back shutouts, Blues. What do you hold on? You got Vancouver skepticism all over your face.
All right, I'm okay.
Yeah? Let me finish this. We should go.
Go.
That was game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
No, I'm good. I'm good with Vancouver wiping the slate clean a little bit, but it's tough, man.
It's hard to watch.
Especially in Canada. I don't know what it could mean 2-3 years before you're ready to compete again. Maybe it's longer. Like it's a hard sell.
But hey, Montreal done it, and then they're here. This is it's the process.
Taking a while. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we return, we still got to get into Jake Sanderson's comments in Ottawa. We got to dive into that. Plus, Brad Larson will join us. You got a chance to work with him last week.
Awesome.
Former head coach. Tell us a little bit about Rasmus Anderson when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. As a reminder, this hour, Real Kyper and Bourne, brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Let's welcome in Brad Larson, former NHL coach, Columbus and Calgary. Brad, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Just in terms of what you're seeing right now with the two latest trades, particularly Rasmus Anderson, I know when you saw him in Calgary, you knew what he was about, and just maybe what Vegas is getting now out of Rasmus based on what you saw over the year.
Well, I mean, he's a warrior. Let's call it what he is. He's going to really add to that group. When you start plugging in players like this to establish teams and teams that are ready to win, and that's really where Vegas is at. They're trying to win every year. Man, is he going to add some serious depth for them? And they've been starving for that right-hand shot defenseman, obviously, with some key injuries that they have sustained, and with Pietrangelo out. I think he's going to fill a need. He's going to fill a need, and he can log tons of minutes. He'll eat a ton of shots again, and he can give you a little spark offensively too. So they got themselves a real good defenseman for a push here.
What kind of guy was he like to, first off, thanks for joining us. I should say hello. Hi. What kind of guy was he like to be around? He seems like he's got this big personality. You've seen him going back and forth with Tom Wilson and the big head stuff and staring down fans. He seems like a lot of personality.
I'll tell you what, he's a riot to coach. He really is. He's fun to be around. He's got great energy. This is a guy, like you said, he goes into the corners and he's staring fans down after he scores a goal. I mean, he's fun. He enjoys to play the game. He enjoys to compete. And I think you feel that energy from him. So that's one of his best assets. And he can play. He can log the minutes. I think they're going to love him there. I really do. And now there's going to be an adjustment. You got to understand, you make a move like this for a guy who's been in one organization, it's going to take some time. I think the one benefit that they have is he has some chemistry with his, I guess we're anticipating his partner, who it's going to be there in Vegas. But, it's going to be different. When you're taking the same path to the rink every day, you're talking to your same teammates, the same coach, the same management, all of a sudden it's going to be brand new for him. So I think he'll be able to adjust. I think doing this move ahead of the Olympics is a great idea. It allows him time to settle in and gives him, even though he's going to be in the Olympics, I think it just lets his head kind of process this. So they're getting a real good player, and he brings fantastic energy. He's going to fit right in with that group.
You're watching and listening to Brad Larson, former NHL coach, Columbus, Calgary. What is that like for a coach when you know that a shoe's going to drop with certain players here, and yet you still got to go out there and do a good job? I think everybody under the hockey world knew that Anderson wasn't long for Calgary, but it didn't seem to affect them too much. But it can't be easy coaching those circumstances as well.
No, it's tough. I think the best thing you can do is address it right away. Coaching in Columbus, we went through that when we had Artemis Panarin and Bobrovsky. And one thing that you learn from John Tortorella is we get the elephant out of the room right away. And we address that. And so you move forward. And again, they're players, they're performers. They have ambitions too. And whether it's playing for a contract, a trade, whatever that is, it's really important that you get rid of those distractions, but you have to address it. And I know Calgary, they did. You heard Backlund talk about it early in even before the season started. So it was addressed. I know Ryan Huska and his staff management, it's an outstanding group there. I think Rasmus handled it like a true pro. He came to play, lots to play for with an Olympic year. And he knew what was at stake, but he performed. And that's what you want. You just want the player to give his best every night. And they did that. And I think as a group, the team itself, the players, the coaching staff, I think everybody handled it really, really well in a tough situation.
Brad, when we worked together the other night, I saw a picture you were coaching, and it was you, Torts, and who was the other coach in that picture?
Marty St. Louis.
And
I was quite a bit taller than him, if you saw that.
Yeah. Okay. You're a giant in the photo, as I recall it. So that's a pretty crazy coaching staff. What's it like managing different personalities and styles? I cannot believe that Marty St. Louis and John Tortorella would want their guys to play the same way. So how do you manage that as the coach?
Well, that's the whole secret sauce, right? Like, how do you get to every guy? How do you help them out? How do you build relationships? These are all the kind of the nuances of coaching, and how do you do it? And it's not just one guy; it's your whole staff, right? The head guy leads it, of course, because he has to make all the hard decisions. We generally talk about it as a staff, but if there's a guy sitting out, or if there's a guy, that's the guy who's making the hard message all the time. So your assistants are really important for kind of connecting that message and maybe helping him through a situation. So it's challenging, but that's the fun of it. It never gets bored, because even when you're winning, there's lots of things that need to be sorted through. There's fires to be put out. There's guys who need help. There's guys that are on a heater. You're trying to help them through it. So you're always kind of every day aligning as a staff and going, hey, who needs to be talked to today? Who needs to be communicated to? And then, you collaborate and you help these guys out as best you can.
Brad, you mentioned Rasmus going into Vegas and having plenty of time to be acclimated now with his surroundings and getting ready for what this should be another spectacular Stanley Cup playoffs. I believe at the March trade deadline, there's roughly 40 days for a player to get traded at the deadline and go in there and feel at home, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. Is that enough time? Is that not enough time for in your estimation as a coach to work with it? Should it get revisited that late?
Yeah, I who knows, right? And to every individual is different on how they handle it. I think it's tougher when guys who haven't been through the process get traded. There's an adjustment period. And I think what we can't, disregard is the human element, because everybody's going to handle it a little bit different. There's families involved, whether they're coming or they staying back behind and going to visit. It's new surroundings. So I've always admired the GMs that were able to kind of pull the trigger earlier, because it just helps them settle in, right? It gives them more time, more games to find out what the new normal feels like. So and again, it's easy to say here playing armchair GM. They all would want to do it earlier, but it's dollars in, dollars out. You need a willing partner. It's all those things. So sometimes those deals don't come down till the final buzzer. Really, they're coming in right under the wire. So more time is better, but I think at the end of the day, you do what you got to do to improve your team.
So one of my favorite things on your hockey DB page is you played for the 02-03 Colorado Avalanche, who went head-to-head with those Detroit teams. So you're in a dressing room with Forsberg, Hayduk, Sakic, Rob Blake. Just an incredible group. These teams that are good and are welcoming new players into the fold, I imagine having those type of guys makes it easier. Having a culture already set, it's much easier to just import a new personality into that room.
Oh, absolutely. And you notice when you mention all those names, one guy doesn't fit in that group. I won't say who, but
you're there.
It's fun. Yeah, that's right. You look back on your career and sometimes you don't realize what you're in until you're out of it, right? And so I was the benefactor of being around a bunch of tremendous players and Hall of Famers, and that was my normal. So when you come into a winning room and the standard's so high, and like Vegas is right now, they what the goal is. It's not playoffs, it's win the Stanley Cup. I think they all want to win. They all want to welcome this guy. They want him to feel as comfortable as quickly as possible because they want to win, right? So I don't think it's going to be hard that way. The one thing about hockey, you guys have been around. Oh, sorry here.
We're good. You're good. We got you.
We're good. All right. We got a call.
You're good.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. I think having that winning culture, it happens organically, right? Rasmus is going to be excited and nervous and all those things, and he'll sort through that, but he's going to have a ton of guys that are going to help him through that process.
It's going to be fun to watch, Brad. Really appreciate your time, man. Thanks for doing this.
You bet. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Brad Larson.
That team was so stacked.
Dude, the Colorado teams he's on, they're just absolutely loaded.
What year?
So 02-03. And then, so he was actually with them for 50 games in 01-02 as well. And then from there, he got picked up in the expansion draft by Atlanta.
Tough.
And so he's telling me, the difference in culture between the Atlanta Thrashers expansion team
Yes.
and the Colorado Avalanche of 03.
Correct.
Just multiple Hall of Famers everywhere.
And he said, though, as soon as he got into that room in Atlanta, because he had only been in Colorado in the NHL prior, he just went, oh. Like he had a better appreciation for what it was before when you're like, oh, that's not normal.
No.
What they had there. Not that what they had in Atlanta was normal either.
Very high bar.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about Ottawa?
I do, yes.
We all do.
Yep. The Ottawa Senators, tough weekend, I think.
Well, I mean,
Overall,
everyone's sharing
one,
around
one out of
the,
4 points.
like best expected goals in a single game, like 2.16, and then the worst goals, actual goals to expected goals the same night. They
Hard to
can't
win.
get a save.
So
They're playing good.
If goaltending wasn't enough of a topic of conversation in Ottawa, it went to another level when Jake Sanderson spoke Saturday.
Okay.
Do we have that clip?
We have two different clips. We have one from Sanderson. And we have one from the head coach as well. So, Derek, you want to play Sanderson first, please?
Yeah, I think Levy made some good saves, but I think at the end of the day, you got to make more than 10 saves to win a game.
Yeah. You know what, though? Okay, go ahead. I want your take.
He made some good saves, but he's got to
yeah.
make more than 10.
My take is pretty consistent with what you've heard from me all year long, whether it was Stolars or Wolf earlier in the season, where you just hope some of these things don't need to surface publicly.
Yeah.
But this is so uncharacteristic of Jake Sanderson. He's not that guy, right? We've never seen signs of him to remotely challenge or rock the boat with anything he said. So I think it speaks to the level of frustration that he had more so than anything.
I also, in my opinion, which is why I'm on the show, so I should just give it. I think if you don't look this in the face, you look inauthentic. Like, eventually, like, we all know what's happening.
100%.
Everybody knows. And so if you're like, he was great again, we just got to do more for him. Everyone, it hurts to lie. Everyone knows you're lying. It's like, you got to get some stops. And I think there are times where throughout the year we accept players saying, this guy's, we need a little better here or there, whatever. The goalie's not exempt from that.
When I first heard it, my first thought is, okay, like on the surface, it looks like he's speaking to Marilyn.
Yeah.
Where it's like, buddy, to your point, we all know it's not good enough, and you're not good enough right now, and we need a save. But then there was the other part of me that said that Jake wasn't just talking to Marilyn in there; he was talking to
management.
Steve Staios, the general manager of the Ottawa Senators.
So,
and it's like, I will remind you that we've been as good as Detroit and Tampa, and we should be up there right now, but you guys have not addressed our goaltending issues. And I'm reminding you with this comment that 10 saves doesn't get it done.
Like, just so you, go ahead if you guys.
But then they did address the goaltending issues.
Reimer?
No. They traded or signed Allmark and paid him
they got it wrong.
But
They got it
either
wrong.
they got it wrong or they haven't fixed it yet.
Okay.
They haven't fixed him yet.
But it's hard to go out and find another starting goalie after your goalie who you're paying like, I'm not going to try to.
No, they took a tough bounce there for
Really
sure.
tough.
But listen, not everyone loved the Allmark signing out of the gates.
I know.
Valley didn't. I think you had some hesitancy with
Yeah.
it.
So they picked the wrong guy.
They may have picked the wrong
Yeah, they
guy.
may have picked the wrong guy.
But they did address it. They've just gone really bad.
No. He's not
They need
back.
to readdress
He's
it.
not back.
Yeah,
Okay,
readdress is fair.
He left. It never got resolved in terms of it's out there why they refused to go any further with behind the scenes. So everybody is just left with the impression of he'll just come back when he feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not addressing it exactly, Sam.
That's fair. I do think that they had horrible goaltending for a bunch of years where it did cost them again. And they're like, all right, enough of this. Let's go get the top guy that we can get. And they went and got him. They did it with Matt Murray, too.
Devils
It
did
didn't
this
work
too.
out.
And they're like, Markstrom will fix it. And it's like, oh,
Goalies are weird.
but you can't get guys at 30, whatever.
But-
I don't think. You look at.
He's a Vezina winner.
You reach a point
He won the
where
Vezina, right?
he did, yeah. You reach a point as a team where you look at your goaltending, the Oilers go, all right, Ingram and Jari, let's see if you guys can be better. Or, Colorado obviously set the precedent with Wedgwood and Blackwood, but the Sens are there now. By the way, Jake Sanderson, let's just take a moment to acknowledge he has gone from one of the league's better D to I got Makar Hughes-Werenski. He's in that next pack for me.
He's really good.
He is exceptional. Making $8 million.
There's some guys.
Why is he?
Till 2032.
That's a bad.
There's some guys that they just talk and it's like, oh, okay, just whatever.
Right.
And then there's others where you're like, whoa.
Yeah, that
He's
matters.
a whoa.
That matters.
He's like, okay, if you said it, I don't really care, but you said it, so now I'm taking it seriously.
Everyone has to care now. Yeah,
because he just doesn't. He's not that guy.
No, he's not an everyday.
And I'll bet it'll be a very long time before we see him critique any of his teammates in that fashion anytime soon.
And the thing with doing it is you have to look that guy in the face, and he'll look Bearline in the face. They're in the same room.
Okay, Bearline shouldn't even be on the roster. He should be in the minors getting better.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to talk about putting guys in a position to succeed? That's not it for that kid.
Sure, he's
so
not.
That's another thing that they need to address. Right? Is whether or not you're doing this guy any favors at all for putting him in a scenario where this team has to win now, and you're not quite ready there. And guess what? The guy that's supposed to be mentoring you and leading you disappears.
So where is he? What's going on, Kip? What do you got?
Have you looked at Mierlainen's numbers?
No, please read them to me.
In 20 games, he has a goals against average of .351 and a save percentage of .860.
Oh. Yeah, I saw.
6.
We did a thing last Wednesday. We had the Ottawa Rangers game, and we did a preseason thing where the worst combined team save percentage in the NHL ever at this late in the year. This is it. They were tied for the worst ever. It was them and the Sharks. So it's probably worse than.
And now you got a beg Reimer. And he was okay. He was fine. He didn't embarrass himself.
I saw a clip today on Twitter of Hank getting ready for. There's an alumni game the Rangers are playing in. He was putting out his new pads. I'm like, Steo's putting in a call.
Just what
Hank,
you
you're ready. Come back.
There was a lot of talk early in the
playing
year.
in that game.
You're playing in that game?
Yeah.
When is that? This upcoming weekend?
Sunday.
No, isn't it next weekend?
Yeah, next Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I guess it's Monday. So this week.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Kip.
That's fantastic. Well, he looked really good warming up.
Oh, my gosh.
You got to try to score on him?
Get him
Valley
back.
slandered him as an alumni goalie just last show.
No, he didn't. He slandered. Oh, yeah.
I think he said you look like an alumni goalie now. Or so, yeah.
No.
Hank still do it?
He's better than Maryland.
Well, listen, 100%. He's got his health issues.
Way.
There's a heart issue there, but outside of that, he could. I'd take
Hank
him.
v. Maryline in full season. Who's got better?
You're telling me right now you have one game to win tomorrow, and you're like, I'm going Hank or I'm going Maryline. Give me Hank 10 times.
No way.
Yeah, give me Hank. Give me Hank.
Well, it actually does remind me that early in this year, there's a lot of talk about
Phil Rivers did it.
Yeah. Will Marc-Andre Fleury, will someone ask him out of retirement at the deadline? Is there any chance? Is he on skates? Anyone got a beat on old Fleury? Where's he at?
I don't know.
I'm sure Hank wants to leave New York.
No, but best
life ever.
No, I'm not saying Hank.
I know.
Flower loves hockey, man.
This goaltending thing, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of changed on us in the last few years.
And that no one knows is good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
860.
Everyone kind of agrees. It's like Sorokin, Shesterkin, maybe Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky, Demko is good. After that, everyone's like, I don't know.
Can one of those guys just switch to be a Canadian?
No, Sorokin.
Our thanks to Frank Saravelli and Brad Larson in this National Hour. Mike Russo, of course, in the Leaf Hour edition.
Did Couturier say we suck and we didn't play it?
He does say we suck. He went full towards we suck.
Really?
They do suck.
Oh, well, we can play tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll play tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow with that.
All right. Choose your game. It's a busy Monday night. You got us some new pens, didn't you?
Ted Reeve Hockey Association, great minor hockey association here in Canada. We're grateful to
Does
them.
that get you free something? A hot dog?
I'm going to ask.
Drink coffee. Drink coffee.
Can I get a
Enjoy
call?
your games, and we're back tomorrow to do it all over again on The Real Kyper and Bourne Show.